The national chairman of the All Progressives Congress, APC, Abdullahi Ganduje, has received defectors from the People's Democratic Party, PDP, from the 19 northern states. The group, under the aegis of coalition of Atiku support groups in the 2023 general elections, pledged to work for the success of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu during the 2027 general election. The group said they decided to join the APC and support President Tinubu following Senator Barrow's encouragement.
So we welcome you honestly. We welcome you to a party with a progressive ideology, to a party that believes in the rule of law, to the party that believes in internal democracy, to the party that believes in engagement, to the party that there is no discrimination. We have a vibrant youth wing that tours all over this country and even attended some seminars and conferences all over the world. We have women wing that is vibrant, led by very, very prominent women.
I am glad that we are receiving this strong coalition that supported Atiku Abubakar in the 2023 general elections. It's a big catch. We are making a big catch today into our party.
Well, now let's have over the issue that has to do with the PDP. Let's have this conversation with the Zonal Secretary, PDP South Zone, George Turnah. He joins us live from Yenagoa in Bayelsa State. George, glad to have you join us. Why is the PDP South Zone, yes, the zone where you are the Zonal Secretary, why are they up in arms against the Caretaker Committee set up by the NWC?
Thank you very much for having me, and good evening, Nigerians. Let me very quickly correct an impression, which is a wrong impression put out there. The NWC of our party did not at any time set up a caretaker committee for the South Zone. We need to make that very clear. The constitution of our party has put the responsibility to issue notices for meetings, especially the NWC meeting, the shoulders of the National Secretary. And I have confirmed from the National Secretary of our great party, distinguished Senator Samuel Anyanwu, and he has told me in clear terms that there was never a meeting of the NWC at any time within the period, not to talk of discussions or deliberations about setting up any caretaker committee for the South Zone. So I'd like to make that very clear, that the NWC never at any time set up any caretaker committee. As you are aware, we had our zonal congress on the 22nd of February in Calabar, and that congress was very successful. It was an elective congress, and we had a brand new leadership, emerge to pilot the affairs of the party in the zone, led by the national vice chairman of the party, the South Zone, Chief Dan Osi Obi. So there is no dispute as to leadership. There is no conflict as to the true identity of the leaders of our party as of today in the South Zone. Well, we heard, and let me also say that you would have noticed a pattern, in the attitude of what is known as releases now, quoting NWC. You will discover that the national publicity of our party never signs any of those funny releases. He just goes on his tabs, writes something and push out. So you can't hold him. You can't pin him to anything. He doesn't put them on letterheaded papers. He doesn't sign anything because he knows that they are not true positions of the NWC.
All right, George.
He cannot continue. His attitude is beginning to be very embarrassing to the party.
All
the
right.
National Public Secretary cannot constitute
All right,
himself,
George,
to
you
be
can
the
hear me.
NWC of our party.
You can hear me.
Yes.
This is the news, and we like to be apt and correct in the things we said. Number one, Anyanwu is no longer the secretary of your party, PDP. That at least you know.
That is not
and
true.
should be able. He's no
That is
longer
not
the
true. That is
secretary.
not
The
correct.
secretary of your party is Udo Okoye, which was ratified
No, that is not
by
correct.
your
That is
own
not correct.
party.
Anyanwu, no, I'm coming. Distinguished Senator Anyanwu has a valid stay, a subsisting stay of execution issued by the Court of Appeal, Abuja. And look, the PDP is founded on rule of law.
All right.
Nobody is above the law.
Anyway, I just have to make.
Anyanwu remains the legitimate secretary of the party as of today.
I don't think you're telling the truth there. But let's just step that aside. Now,
I tell you
the
in
fact,
all honesty
let's just
Senator
continue.
Anyanwu is the secretary of our great party.
Don't worry, George. Let's just
moment.
continue. At least I've made that statement. On the issue of the caretaker committee, you said again there is no such thing. Now let me say this: the chairman of your party, Damagun, attesting to the setting up of this committee in pursuant of the provisions of the Constitution of the PDP as amended in 2017. He attested to this, your chairman, Damagun. So I wonder why you're saying that there is no such caretaker committee. The National Public Secretary of the party, Ologuaba, also alluded to that.
Well, I don't know where you're getting those attestations from, but let me even say this, that the NWC, by the constitution of our party, do not even have the powers. When they say, hello?
I'm listening to you.
Hello? Yes, so when you rely on the provisions of the constitution to say you set up caretaker committee, what provision of the constitution? The only provision of our constitution that is vested with power to determine leadership, members of the zonal working committee, either by election or any other means, is the zonal congress, and that is clearly stated in Article 28, 2b. There is no other provision again in the whole of the constitution that talks about the power to elect people or appoint people or constitute officers of the party into the zonal working committee. So what provision of the constitution are they relying on?
Let
the
me
NWC
also
has no such powers, and they know.
Okay.
And they know. Let me say this, that is why we're here. I have not seen, but we heard that they went to get a court order from a state high court to mandate them. You don't need it. If you have the constitutional powers, you don't need it. Okay. Why will you feel if I walk up to a state high court tomorrow and I'm declared national chairman of the PDP?
Okay,
we
that's
stop
actually
making ridicule.
That's actually
of the democracy that people fought so hard, to achieve for this country.
That's actually what I was leading up to. The fact that the Rivers State High Court in Port Harcourt has also issued a restraining order against PDP and the National Vice Chairman, South, Dan Obe, from holding any zonal congress. Actually, the issuing of that statement of the caretaker committee is, according to your party, the PDP, not to allow any vacuum, that there is no, until a congress is eventually held. So apparently the congress that was held against, in disobedience to this court order by the Rivers State High Court.
No, that is not correct. They attempted to stop the Congress using an Abuja Federal High Court in Abuja, and the court declined. The court gave us go ahead, to go on with the Congress. There was no order as at the time of the Congress and election of the current leadership of the zone. There was no court order known to us or known to the party leadership. There was no order, and we challenge anybody to produce any order as at the time of election, in Calabar, that any order of court was served on us or by any means stopping the election. Rather, a federal court in Abuja was approached to stop the election, and the court declined. The court declined. We are aware of some other things they did in Port Harcourt, but we beat them to it.
All right.
We beat them to it, and those are legal issues. I wouldn't want to go into. They are subject. They are issues that are before courts of law.
There are many sites.
I can tell you that we had our Congress on the 22nd, and that Congress remains valid, and leadership emerged, and we are here. We are serving our party.
All right.
And we're doing the best we can.
The party says otherwise, by the way. But the four South governors failed to attend the Congress held in Calabar. And the PDP itself distanced itself from the Calabar Congress, says a new date for a Congress will be announced. So why were the four South governors?
No, not at all. You see, our governors, our four governors wrote, they sought some permissions that they would not be available, at that date. But again, that Congress is beyond, individuals. So the Congress went on. It is not mandatory by our constitution that for a Congress to be valid, all governors of the party must be present. That is not true. There was a Congress in Port Harcourt that I came in as legal advisor. At all the governors we had at the time, the governor of Cross River was not there. The governor of Edo was not there. So will you say because those two governors were not there, the Congress was not valid? The governors presented a situation, that shows that they were not going to be chanced at that moment. And majority of the delegates were chanced, and they attended the Congress. So there's no law, there's no provision in our constitution that makes it mandatory that for a Congress to be valid, governors elected on the platform of the party must be physically present.
All right,
I'm yet
George,
to see any provision of our constitution.
All right, George.
To that effect. And in any case, you see, the governors made their request to the wrong organ of the party. The appropriate organ of the party, constitutionally empowered to determine date for Congress.
All right.
Is the zonal executive committee.
All right,
so
George.
If the governors had addressed their concerns to the leadership of the party at the zone.
All right, George.
The zonal working committee.
All right, George.
And then
all right,
to the
George
zonal
Turnah,
executive committee.
I hope
maybe
I hope you can hear me.
Some consideration would have been given to
We'll leave it there. We'll leave it there. George Turnah, I hope you can hear me.
The working committee, as I have maintained, have no role under our constitution in the conduct of Congress for election of officers at that level.
All right. Thank you.
They have no role.
Thank you. All right. We'll see how far this goes on the question of party supremacy. The PDP party saying one thing and the zonal part of the party saying another thing. We'll leave it there for now.